Hi everyone, welcome back. If it's your first time here, then hi, my name is Becca. This is my second Best of Beauty 2025 video. I just posted my Best of Beauty makeup video, and in this one we're going to be talking about skincare, hair care, body care, as well as fragrance. So I really tried to narrow things down, but these videos always get a little bit long. So as always, everything will be linked and time-stamped by category in the description box, and we're going to get into it starting with skincare in order of application. So let's talk about first cleansers. There were actually quite a few affordable first cleansers that I really loved this year. By the way, some of these products I'm going to have to talk about. Some of them I've emptied and used up, which you'll know if you've followed my empties videos. This is a brand new one. This is the Pre-Glens cleansing oil. And this one is fantastic. It just kind of does everything you need it to. It breaks down makeup, it breaks down SPF, breaks down mascara, and it gives you a really thorough cleanse. It leaves your skin feeling hydrated, but it doesn't leave any sort of film behind. And I think this one is around $20. Prequel is also at Target now, so it makes it much more accessible, which is great. The other one I loved this year is by Beauty of Chosun. I don't have that one right now, but it's a K-Beauty cleansing oil. I think it's a ginseng cleansing oil. This one is great because Beauty of Chosun just came into Sephora this year, which is very exciting. And while it is at Sephora, it's still very much at an accessible K-Beauty price point. I think it's about $20 as well. So is this one. It's also a workhorse product. It will break everything down. I really like the addition of the ginseng. It rinses clean, it's hydrating, and because it's affordable, you don't have to worry about it going through it too quickly or anything like that. So those are my cleansing oils. This year, Merit came out with a bi-phase cleansing face wash. They call it their double cleanse face wash, and the top portion is like a milky oil and the bottom portion is more of your like water-based ingredients. So you mix it up and it actually turns into a foaming face wash. I was very skeptical about whether this would be enough emollients to break down makeup and SPF, and it turns out it actually is. I've really been enjoying it. I still like to go in with a separate micellar water for if I'm wearing mascara, just because I have very sensitive eyes. So I kind of do that step separately, but I've really been enjoying this. You can go in once as your first cleanse, you can go in twice as your second cleanse, or you can do it as your only cleanse in the morning. Even though it's a foaming face wash, because of the emollient ingredients in here, it's not stripping, it's hydrating, it's really lightweight. The foam kind of melts into a regular cleanser, but it's very thorough as well. So this has really surprised me. I do really like Merit's Great Skin line, including their serum. The only thing I don't love is that the packaging does get a little bit gunky, like the foam kind of collects. So that's my one critique of this product, but in terms of performance, it's fantastic. And then for second cleansers, my favorite is actually one that I've emptied. I don't have a new one of right now, and it's the Experiment Plasma Wash. And I believe they call this their creamy gel cleanser. It is like a hybrid between a cream cleanser, which is often better for dry skin, and a gel cleanser, which is better for normal to oily. It kind of has the best of both worlds, and because of that, I actually think it works for such an array of different skin types. It gives you a thorough cleanse, but it's also very gentle, very hydrating. It's very good for your skin barrier if you have sensitive skin. It's unscented. It's just kind of soothing and comforting to use. It kind of cocoons your skin, rinses clean, and I really love everything Experiment does. I think they do really thoughtful formulations and releases. It's a great line if you have sensitive skin. So that was the one cleanser release that I just really enjoyed this year, not just in terms of performance, but also in terms of how it felt sensorially. Getting into mists, toners, essences, there were quite a few of these products that I really enjoyed this year. Probably my number one favorite mist release is the Road Glazing Mist. I've talked about this so much, but it really impresses me because it gives you hydration that sticks around all day long. I am pregnant, and there are some mornings where I wake up and I just like can't do anything. Maybe wash my face and do a little bit of mist. And even when I'm using this, I don't feel like I'm missing out on a full skincare routine because it's that hydrating. It sticks around. I think there's ectoin in here, so it's calming. It just looks great on the skin. It looks great over makeup. If you're feeling a little bit too dry or matte, it adds hydration back. And there's so many ways to use this, and it is a noticeably hydrating mist. I will say it does leave a dewiness behind, so if you have oily skin, this might not be your favorite, but if you're someone that's seeking long-lasting hydration, I just can't say enough good things about this. I think it's very underrated from the Rhode line. Another mist that I really, really love, another great one for sensitive skin, is the Estura Auto Barrier 365 Cream Mist. This is a little bit lighter than something like the Laneige Cream Skin Mist. That one has a little bit more weight to it. This is a little bit more weightless, but it has ceramides. It's going to help with your skin barrier if you have sensitive skin, irritated skin, itchy skin, anything like that. It's great as a toner step, or I like to add it throughout the day if I'm feeling a little bit dehydrated as well. And Estura did come into Sephora this year as well. Sephora is really bringing in their K-beauty offerings. So that's kind of exciting because it makes it very accessible for us here in the States. With toners, I really, really love the Beauty of Chosun Rice Milk Toner. I've talked about it before. It's been in empties this year, so this won't be a surprise. It's a very calming, watery toner. It has a kind of cloudiness to it that comes from the rice milk itself, like when you wash your rice. And rice is known to have, or rice milk is known to have, sort of brightening and calming properties. And I just really enjoyed using it. It's, again, very fluid, very watery. It's just going to add a splash of hydration. I like using it right after cleansing. And you can do multiple skins of it because it is so lightweight, and it's also very affordable. And it's also at Sephora, which is great. I didn't plan to talk about things at Sephora, but it is kind of nice that it is so accessible and it's at a great price point. In terms of milky toners, there are a few because it's a category I really love. I think especially in my mid-30s, I just turned 35 a little while ago. I'm really enjoying adding more hydration, not necessarily more greasiness or heaviness, but just richer layers of hydration. And so there are a few milky essences that I'm loving. First one is the Haru Haru Black Rice Probiotic Barrier Essence. It's a milky essence and it's beautiful. It's creamy, it's bouncy, it absorbs into my skin so nicely. Again, it also has rice as an ingredient, but it's not heavy. It adds that milky layer without feeling greasy, and my skin just drinks this up. I use it morning and evening right after my toner, and I really notice when I have a milky essence in my routine versus when I don't. I feel like it just adds that beautiful layer of glow and bounce to the skin. Another one I really love that's not technically categorized as an essence, but is a Western beauty offering is the Prequel Half and Half. I do have a dedicated brand review on Prequel. Sorry, this is a new one, so I can't get it open. I have emptied this probably 2 or 3 times. It's a little bit richer, I would say, than the Haru Haru one. They actually call it like their liquid moisturizer, but I use it in the milky essence step. It's essentially the same thing, just a little bit more emollient than the Haru Haru. So this one is also great because it has ceramides. Again, it's great for sensitive skin. This one also has peptides, so it's going to really boost your skin barrier while adding that beautiful layer of milky hydration. And it's Prequel, so it is a little bit more accessible. You can get it at Target, online. I'll link everything below. And the last one I really love is the Rhode Glazing Milk. I think this is the most emollient of the 3. It has fluidity, but I think it has the most richness and probably the heaviest feeling out of the 3. I do feel like this leaves a lot of dewiness behind, but it is so thoroughly moisturizing. I love the texture of it, and I really reach for it a lot in winter or in cooler months because it adds such deep hydration. So yeah, I love all of these equally. I kind of use them interchangeably, but there are slight textural and formulation differences. The other item I want to mention is kind of in a league of its own. Mine is totally busted. This is the VT Cosmetics PDRN Essence 100. They call it their PDRN Essence. They say it's for elasticity, and this one is very, very rich. I actually use it as a layer right before moisturizer. It also comes out as this like milky texture. You can see it's kind of thick, and it also comes with a pump. And this one is amazing, especially for nighttime or if you have dry skin. This one's almost like a moisturizer. It's like a moisturizer milky essence hybrid, but it has a ton of emollients to it. It's definitely some richness. There's a little bit of like a tackiness that sticks around, but I actually really like that, especially at night when I want more moisture and I really want to pack it in. That's when I reach for this, and I've really, really been loving it. I actually emptied one, and this is my second one that I'm on this year. Then let's chat about eye care. I have a few different things that I use for different purposes. This is the Nyon Fractionated Hydrogenated Eye Contour Concentrate. It shows up in my favorites every year because this is the depuffing eye serum. I've been using it for like, I don't know, 8 years or something like that. It's very fluid, it's kind of watery, and I really just take one drop between my fingers and I kind of take it over my eyelids as well as under. And if you have puffy eyes or hooded eyes, this makes such a difference. I really notice when I have it versus when I don't, especially now that I'm pregnant and my body's retaining more fluid. I really notice a difference using it. But this year I did discover the Cypher Anomaly Eye Matrix Concentrate, and this has also been amazing. They're kind of different. I think the FECC is a little bit more depuffing. However, this one is fantastic for if you have hooded eyes. I actually find that it kind of lifts my eye a little bit. There are lots of incredible ingredients in here. Mostly I think it's the peptide complex in here that has been a little bit firming, and I've noticed it with like crow's feet and things like that. I don't know how I haven't emptied it yet. I think I'm really close to it, but it's become kind of an essential for me. So I'm about to repurchase it very, very soon. And then in terms of traditional eye creams this year, I've definitely been liking something a little bit richer. One that I recently discovered but have been obsessed with is the SkinCeuticals AGE eye cream. And this one is really nice because it's very, very stiff. It's almost like a balm, and you can see like I pick it up with my nail, it keeps its shape, and then it sort of melts into a balm around the eyes. I really like it for nighttime for that reason, because it gives me a lot of emollients around the eyes and I actually feel like it sticks around. Another eye cream that's a little bit more of a traditional cream, but it's also really rich, packed with peptides, is the In Beauty Project Extreme Cream Eye Cream. And that one also has this one's a little bit more buttery. I really like it for nighttime as well. I use it during the day too, actually. If you have dry skin or you struggle with eye creams just kind of disappearing, you'll really like that one. And it's at a much more accessible price point than the SkinCeuticals, although I do really love the SkinCeuticals balm texture. Moving into serums, because I'm pregnant right now, I can't use retinoids. I'm really relying on serums with peptides, copper peptides, different kinds of ingredients that are usually supplementary to my retinoid routine. I'm really relying on them now as the kind of like primary heavy lifters in my skincare routine. So I have a lot of serums. They kind of all do different things. I'm gonna move from like lower price point into higher price point. The In Beauty Project Elastic Skin Firming and Plumping Serum, stunning, beautiful, love it. So this has copper peptides, and that's what gives it this light blue color. This one is extremely hydrating. They actually sort of designed the texture after snail mucin, like Korean snail mucin serums. It has that like slight goopiness, but once you apply it to the skin and it sinks in, that really goes away. It's actually a really good primer serum because it gives you a little bit of tackiness on the skin, so it gives your foundation something to hold on to, but it's very, very hydrating. It's very calming, and basically you'll see copper peptides in a few of the products here. Basically what they do is they stimulate collagen. They're going to work as an antioxidant. They help calm the skin. They help improve skin texture. It's not going to be as intense of an effect, obviously, as retinoids, but there is a lot of science behind copper peptides, and I'm really excited that we're seeing them more in different skincare products, and this has just been really outstanding. I've emptied it a couple of times this year, and you can see this is a new one that I'm waiting to use once I empty some of these. One of my most standout products that I just emptied is the Medicate Multipeptides Advanced. They have their liquid peptides that's in their white glass bottle, and then they have their black bottle, which is advanced. So there are actually a lot more peptides in there. Peptides are a very large category. Different peptides do different things. So some are more antioxidants, some are just hydrating, some help stimulate collagen. So you want to see something that has a multi-peptide in it because it means it's targeting the skin on multiple levels, and that's what I really love about the Medicate one. Medicate has such great science behind their products, and I really love the texture of this one too because it's milky, it's really hydrating. My skin just drank it up. So not only did it kind of have the performance of the peptides, it also texturally felt really beautiful going on, and I kind of preferred it to something like a gel serum. serum. This year, Dr. Whitney Bowe Beauty came out with the P46 serum. They call it their peptide and HA plumping serum, and the clinical trials for this are very impressive, and I really enjoyed using this serum. It is refillable. Mine is totally empty. It's also a milky serum, so it's hydrating. It has the hyaluronic acid in here, but it has that like milky quality to it. What's really impressive is that they use targeted peptides in this that really work on lifting, on firming the skin, and it also focuses a lot on collagen production. So these are not products where you're going to see like an overnight difference or even really like a short-term difference, but I think especially being in my 30s, I am focused on the long-term health of my skin and the long-term collagen production, firmness, all of that, and I'm just really impressed with the clinicals behind this. So yeah, I really enjoyed using it. I have a refill waiting in the wings. And the last peptide serum that I really loved this year that I emptied is the Allies of Skin Multi-Peptides and Growth Factor Serum. That one also has peptides that really target lifting, collagen production, skin firmness, and that one had a little bit more of a fluid texture. It's not quite as milky or rich as some of these, but it was very hydrating. My skin just drank it up. Again, it's not about short-term difference. It's about kind of managing long-term skin health, and I really did enjoy that one, and I really kind of returned to Allies of Skin this year. I feel like I took a couple of years where I wasn't really using their products very much, not for any particular reason, but this year I really got back into the brand and I'm just really impressed. They always do very complex ingredients lists and kind of all-in-one targeted solutions products. Then getting into more actives and brightening products, my one real true consistent brightening serum is the Mother Science Molecular Hero Serum. You've heard me talk about it before. I empty it in basically every empties video. This has basically replaced vitamin C for me. I feel like it's really good at fading pigmentation, whether that's right after a breakout or with old pigmentation as well. It's great for managing sunspots, but it's not as irritating on my skin as something like an L-ascorbic acid. This one has like a bouncy gel texture. It has a bit of body to it. You can use it in the morning or in the evening, and I just really notice a difference with consistent use, which is obviously what you want to see with a serum at this price point. I just really love that it's brightening without irritating my skin. For exfoliation, I've definitely needed more exfoliation, more chemical exfoliation because I'm not using retinoids, and the Drivectin Daily Reveal exfoliating pads have been great. I actually got to work with them on this launch. This has a blend of a lot of different acids. It has AHA, BHA, PHA, and TXA. So it's going to target chemical exfoliation, oiliness, it's going to clear pores, prevent breakouts, and it's also going to help with pigmentation. There's glycolic acid, azelaic acid, tranexamic acid, and then BHA in the form of willow bark extract. Even though it sounds like a lot of acids, it's actually very well balanced to the point where I don't really feel any tingle or anything like that. I use these about twice a week. It just helps clear the pores and keeps breakouts at bay. And of course, the peel pad makes it really easy. These are kind of your modern peel pads. They have a little bit of texture, so they give you a touch of physical exfoliation, but they're just really nicely balanced, and I really enjoy that it's kind of an all-in-one, easy to use sort of product. Speaking of azelaic acid, there's a new favorite azelaic acid in my life, or an azelaic acid product. This is the Allies of Skin Azelaic and Kojic Advanced Clarifying Serum, and wow, I have seen an instant difference in my skin with this. I really fell in love with azelaic acid in the last couple of years. I really liked the Dr. Sam's Brightly Serum, still a favorite. This one just has a punch. It packs a punch. It not only has the azelaic, it also has kojic acid to help with brightening, and I just feel like my skin is glowy. It's very even toned. Azelaic acid also helps. It's a mild acid, so it helps with just general skin tone turnover without being too much. I can actually use this every single day, and I saw such a difference almost immediately once I started incorporating this into my routines. One thing I really love about it is that azelaic acid can be difficult to formulate with. It can be a little bit chalky or gritty, so it's hard to create a texturally elegant formula, but Allies of Skin have done it. It's a milky serum and it's hydrating and my skin just drinks it up. I feel like azelaic acid products can be a little bit pasty sometimes, like you can feel it on your skin. This one just feels like a milky fluid serum, but it also doesn't compromise on the concentration of azelaic acid. You still get a 10% azelaic acid in here. Another Allies of Skin serum. I'm telling you, they're really just doing it for me. The copper tripeptide and ectoin advanced repair serum. So this has copper peptides. Again, it has that like blue color, but it also has ectoin, which you guys know is one of my favorite skincare ingredients. It's calming, it's hydrating, it's a really good ingredient for sensitive skin. And I'm kind of using both of these actually in my routines right now. This one is more of the reparative and this one is like the active. So they do different things, but I'm really loving them. I do have an Allies of Skin code if you ever want to use it, just because their products are kind of expensive, but again, they pack a ton of punch into one bottle. I'm not currently using retinoids because I'm pregnant, but the retinoids that I was using this year before I got pregnant are always the Medicate Crystal Retinol. It's one I've emptied so many times. It's one I have given to Sean. But one thing I did want to mention this year is that Prequel recently came out with retinols, and they have come out with them at a couple of different concentrations. So it's really exciting to see this happening at a more accessible price point. I think they're in the $20 to $30 price point, and you're able to get that experience of different strengths of retinol at the drugstore, which you weren't able to do before. And Naturium also does this really well. So that's what I'm going to be giving to Sean next to test. So I have sort of the high-end version that I love, which is Medicate Crystal Retinol, and then there's now an accessible drugstore price point one that I'm really excited about. Obviously, you've seen a lot of Prequel in here. I just really think their products are formulated so well, so intentionally, so thoughtfully, and the founder, Dr. Sam, is a dermatologist, so you really get the benefit of her experience. Then for moisturizers, there are a couple of different textures here. Speaking of Prequel, this is the Skin Utility Gel. I don't really consider this a moisturizer, but I use it as a hydrating step under moisturizer. So they call it their multi-purpose skin protectant, and really it's ultra hydrating and calming. There's 20% glycerin, 5% vitamin B complex, and it's really meant to soothe and hydrate the skin. If you have redness in the skin, if you have eczema, dermatitis, any of those, any like skin irritation or itching, this is great. It comes out as this gel and then it has a water burst feel as you blend it into the skin. I almost use it as like a hydrating serum step, and I just feel like it adds hydration, but it also helps manage skin tone, any redness. Sometimes I feel like I have like rosacea flare-ups, especially with pregnancy, and it just helps manage a very even skin tone. I've really been loving it. Another moisturizer I completely fell in love with this year is the Experiment Molecular Mesh. This also has ectoin in it. It's such an interesting texture. I also have a discount code, I think, for Experiment. I'll include it in the description box. This is so interesting because it's like a beautiful one and done kind of moisturizer. It's hydrating, it leaves you dewy, but it's not heavy, but it still has body. It's kind of just that perfect middle of the road moisturizer. It just feels so cosmetically elegant. It's very, very calming and soothing on my skin, and I'm able to use it in the morning as well as in the evening. There were, like I mentioned, a lot of days this year where I just didn't have energy for a lot of skincare, and something like this kind of does it all. It's very calming, soothing, hydrating, all of that. The texture is just like really beautiful because it's very stretchy. I think they actually say that. Yeah, it's a stretchy emulsion and it's very unique in that way. So I just have to mention that. I loved it so much. Another product in the Haru Haru line that I love is their Black Rice 5 Ceramide Barrier Moisturizing Cream. This one is a little bit stiffer. I mean, it's definitely stiffer. It looks like this, so it keeps its texture, but it still has not quite a water burst feel, but it's very stretchy. A little bit goes a long way, and it's very hydrating, also very calming. So this is something that I can use in the morning and the evening, and this line is packed with ceramide. So again, it's great for your skin barrier, maintaining skin barrier health, just that kind of plump elasticity in your skin. And then this is a long time favorite, but I've emptied it so many times this year. It's the Kate Somerville Delicate Recovery Cream. This one is basically a balm. I'm I'm almost done with it actually, another one. It's basically a balm and then it melts into the skin as you rub it in. And this is my night cream. And it's what I use when it's winter, when I'm feeling extra dehydrated, when I need something a little bit more occlusive to really pack in and hold in that moisture overnight. That's when I reach for this. And of course it is part of the Delicate line. So it's unscented. It's great if you have sensitive skin like me, but even if you don't and you just want something rich and buttery and thick, that's when I reach for this. And then finally closing out with SPF, my long-term favorite is the Skin 1004 Centella Tea Trika Soothing Sun Milk. I love this one so much. It's a little bit more fluid and milky than their Hyalusica one. This one's beautiful as well. This one's more of a water cream, whereas this one has the kind of fluidity of an essence-y, milky product. That's kind of why I like it. I find it just a slightly more lightweight than their Hyalusica one, although I use them honestly both interchangeably. But there is a new K-Beauty SPF that I've really been loving, especially now that it's winter. This is the Torridon Dive-In Moisture Sun Cream SPF 50 PA4+, same with the other ones. And this one I actually got in Korea, and it's been really nice because it's a little bit richer, a little bit stiffer than the other two, but it's still very hydrating, very spreadable. And all of these use K-Beauty filters. They're not mineral sunscreens, so they're sheer, they hydrate, they really pack in like moisture without being too heavy. And they all wear beautifully under makeup. I really love the Torridon Dive-In Moisture line. They have like everything from toners to moisturizers to creams in this range. So this is the SPF of that range. And unfortunately, these are all Korea exclusive, so you do have to get them on YesStyle. If there are American versions of these, they use different filters. They're like a different product. So just be aware of that because they are kind of cracking down on K-Beauty sunscreens here in the States, but you can get them on YesStyle and StyleVana, which I will link below. My one American mineral sunscreen that I did enjoy this year is the Beauty Project Mineral Sun Glow. This is not new to me, but I did reach for it on days where I was like really minimal and just wanted a little bit of something on my skin. These are tinted, so I have fair medium. I think there's a medium deep. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 shades in this range. This one is glowy, and it does have a bit of pearl to it. So you want to make sure that you're getting sufficient SPF coverage and applying the recommended amount, but it is really beautiful on the skin. I feel like it is one of those tinted SPFs where I can get the full amount that I need, but it doesn't look cakey or heavy, and it's not too tinted either. I don't like when it's orangey on the skin. I feel like so many tinted SPFs go orange. This is one of the few that doesn't do that. I just wish it was SPF 50. It's SPF 43 PA3+. My one skincare device absolute standout of the year has been my Therabody Depuffing Wand. And the reason why I've used it so much is that it's quite simply very simple to use. So it looks like this. The metal tip gets cold or it gets warm. There are 3 cold settings, 3 heat settings, and that's it. It doesn't do any microcurrent, any LED. It's not that fancy, but it is so good for depuffing tired eyes. If you have TMJ, it's really great for relieving that. I oftentimes wake up with eye puffiness. I don't really wake up with eye bags, and this is just so calming, so soothing. It's so easy to use. I don't really have to think that hard about it. These are the buttons, by the way. That's the cold setting, so you get 3 different strengths, or you can do the warm setting, and there are 3 different strengths with that as well. I really mostly use the cold, and I actually really like this paired with the Experiment Super Saturated Serum. This one is a beautiful serum on its own, but it has a lot of slip and glide to it, and so I apply it everywhere, and I feel like it gives me that kind of like glide, so I can sort of move this around my face without tugging on my skin. So these two are like a perfect pair. I also love my Current Body LED mask. You guys know it's really the one consistent LED product that I've been able to use year after year after year, but this has been the new standout. I do still love my LED mask. I just don't have as much energy for it right now because I'm pregnant. But because I'm pregnant, I want want the depuffing, and that's why this has been such a standout for me this year, and I'm so glad I finally got it. So that is it for skincare. Let's talk about hair. It was generally a pretty minimal hair year for me, but one of my standout brands of the year has been Rose, R-O-Z. I really, really loved their shampoo and conditioner, their foundation shampoo and conditioner. I've emptied it. It comes in these blue aluminum tubes. The scent of Rose products is absolutely intoxicating. It's fresh, it's green. I think they say they have fig in the scent, which makes sense because I love all things fig, but I get a lot of bergamot in there as well. There's like a bright green citrus freshness in all of their products. So the shampoo is lightweight, but it's really cleansing while still being hydrating. The conditioner is beautiful. It's creamy, but it's not like a hair mask. It's not that thick, but I really, really loved it. And then for leave-in, I really have loved their Milk Hair Serum. You can see how much I've used of it. It's actually very thick. It's like a blow dry cream, and it's detangling, it's hydrating. I know they have a hair serum as well. I think it's like a clear gel. I like this one better just because it has more richness and more body, and I feel like it gives my hair a lot of shine, and then that scent is in this as well, and I like smelling it in my hair. For finishing products, I love my Crown Affair finishing spray. That one, it's in my bathroom. I'm pregnant. I'm just like, I can't get up and get it. And this is nice because it's not as intense as a hairspray, but it has light hold. This is third day hair actually for me. And I do my hair, style it, blow dry it, whatever. I spray it, and then it doesn't leave any crispiness behind, but it does extend the longevity of my hairstyles. And it's just so effective without leaving a lot of crunchiness or anything like that in the hair. I'm still able to like brush through it. It feels really touchable, and it is the product I rely on to maintain a hairstyle. I've recently, or not recently, but I rediscovered the Virtue hair oil this year. I think it's my favorite hair oil I've ever used because it adds a lot of shine and softness, but it's not heavy. And I feel like some hair oils just really weigh your hair down, or you apply it to your hands and then you work it through your hair and you can see where you have applied the hair oil. That's not the case with this one. It just adds all over shine. It's really easy to work through the hair because it's a lighter, drier oil, but it still gives you a lot of moisture and shine. So that's my favorite hair oil. In the last few years, I've really fallen out of love with aerosol dry shampoos, which I never thought would happen because I have used up a can of aerosol dry shampoo every day, or not every day, like every month for years and years, over 10 years of my life probably. But Crown Affair's dry shampoo is sort of revolutionizing my dry shampoo life. So it's a hair powder. It's kind of like a setting powder, but it's a hair powder that comes with a brush, and you get the dispenser like you do with a setting powder, and you actually just like brush it through your hair only where you need it. And I find that it's super effective. It takes away the greasy look and feel of your hair, but I feel like it doesn't have a lot of the binder or like extra ingredients that come in aerosol dry shampoos. Sometimes I feel like that's what leaves like a cakey, dirty feeling in your hair, and I like just knowing that it's just the powder in my hair and I can use it multiple days in a row. It's a white powder, but it never looks like gray in my hair. It doesn't leave a cast, and it is just, I feel like I'm using a lot less product and just targeting it only where I need it, usually down my part and then like around my face or where I need a little volume. It adds a little lift without adding a ton of product. So it's been a major game changer for me this year. And then actually one last hair product to mention is the Chris McMillan Glassy Smooth Blow Dry Spray. Chris McMillan is a celebrity hairstylist and he launched his own hair care brand this year. I think this retails in Sephora. And this has been really great for adding shine and kind of preventing the loss of dullness that can happen with a blow dry. I really feel like it's lightweight, but it does add shine, and I notice the shine lasts over several days when I use it. I think this also has heat protection properties. Yeah, it does. Blocks humidity, creates long-lasting blowouts, prevents frizz, and I do feel like all of that is true. So I had to mention that. I especially really like using it with the T3 Air. And then I have one hair tool that's completely changed my life this year. This is the T3 Air 360, or just Air. Basically, it's their answer to the Dyson Airwrap. So you get the base. This is what shoots out the hot air. You get an oval hairbrush, which I use all the time just to blow dry. You get the blow dry attachment. So that's just like your straight up blow dryer. And this has 3 heat settings and 3 different strength settings. And then you get the ceramic curling wands that function like the Dyson Airwrap does. However, unlike the Airwrap, the actual tube is made of ceramic and it does get very hot. So it actually is so fast and so efficient at giving me that blowout look, that wavy blowout look. It's what I use today. It's what I use most days. And I do this. I can sleep in it. And my hairstyle will last 3 or 4 days, or basically until the next time I wash it. This is 3rd day hair, and I still could get maybe 1 or 2 more days out of it. The only con to this is that there are 2 attachments for this. So one curls in one direction, the other one curls in the other direction. So if you want to get the style that I've done, which is blowing away from the face, you kind of need to alternate attachments, but it's really not that big of a deal. It also comes with a carrying case to make it easy to have all of the attachments. There was a learning curve for me. It maybe took like 2 times for me to really get the hang of it. But once you get the hang of it, it's so easy to use. And the hairstyle just looks so good for so many days that I barely touch my curling irons now. It's the kind of thing that maybe feels high maintenance in the moment, but then the hairstyle lasts like all week long. And it actually has been a great investment because it's low effort hair that looks high effort. So it's just completely changed the game for me. I basically don't use any other hair tools anymore. And then for body products, the Cyclar body washes have been my favorite this year. They are just so luxurious. They're gel body washes that are really hydrating. They have like this gorgeous slip to them, and the scents are incredible. I really, really love Vanilla Verve. That's probably my favorite one, but I also love Bergamot Bond. I think that one is their like citrusy one. All of their scents are incredible. I love Sacred Santal. I think Cyclar as a brand is doing fragrances and body care that feel really elevated but are at a very affordable and accessible price point. So I have a couple of their fragrances that I'll mention too, but their body products are just like really beautiful. I just personally prefer an unscented body lotion, but they also do have scented body creams and lotions and butters and all of that. So Cyclar has been a huge hit for me this year. Funny enough, I'm actually testing a ton of body butters and stuff because I am pregnant. And the one that I've liked the most has actually been so surprising because it's just not that exciting, but texturally it just kind of hits everything I like. This is the Kiehl's Squalane Ultra Body Mega Moisture Squalane Cream. And it is stiff. It's a huge tub. I can use it really liberally. I, like I mentioned, don't like fragrance body products because I have sensitive skin. So I've been testing a lot of different ones on the bump and all of that. And while stretch marks are genetic more than anything, you can't really prevent them with body products. This has been my favorite because it's stiff, right? Like you kind of expect a body butter to be stiff, but it actually has such a nice like melting consistency, and it feels super, super hydrating and nourishing, but it doesn't feel sticky or tacky. I am noticing for myself that I don't like body butters that feel like too greasy. I want to be able to get dressed after in a relatively reasonable amount of time. And this has all of the calming effects and hydrating effects of squalane without being too heavy or too intense or too sticky. So it just kind of hits all of my favorite things. And then I'm gonna end with fragrances. I actually just have a few this year because I haven't been wearing a ton of perfume. I was so sick during IVF and I was so sick in my first trimester. I barely could leave my bed. I could barely eat. So perfume was just kind of out of the question, but there are a couple that I've returned to time and time again throughout the year. And Lore launched this year. This is a fragrance brand that is founded by several co-founders of other brands that I like. So I know Greg from Youth to the People is involved in this. I think there are a couple people from Merit maybe involved in this. It's a beautiful fragrance brand. I love the kind of brand story. Every fragrance has a beautiful story. The bottles themselves are stunning. They sent me actually minis of all of their fragrances to try, and this one surprisingly has been the standout for me, and it's not what I expected. This one is called Lovely and a Little Twisted. These notes are much sweeter than something I typically go for, but it's something I love, and it smells really fresh and clean while still having some sweetness and femininity. So the notes in this: patchouli, rose milk, and pistachio. When I saw the notes, I actually thought it would be much sweeter, much more of a gourmand, but it's actually kind of a little bit more floral, clean, sweet, and it wears into the skin really nicely throughout the day. The patchouli kind of grounds it, gives it a little bit of woodsiness. I think there might be like an amber base in here as well, but I really like the creaminess that comes from the pistachio and then the rose milk. Even though I'm not a big rose person, I feel like it's really balanced out by the other notes. It's a really great, more of like a springtime perfume, but it's something that I can reach for throughout the year and would and have. I mentioned Cyclar earlier. They do these really cute little perfume oils and they look chic. They're a glass amber bottle. They feel really expensive, but I think these are only like $25 and there are so many scents. And it's a perfume oil, so it's kind of this like roller ball system. And my current favorite, I've gone through a few different favorites, but my current favorite is Cedar Supreme. It's woodsy, but it also has a kind of roundness and warmth to it that I really love. It's a great base for other perfumes if you want to extend their longevity. And it also is kind of a unisex fragrance. It's not really girly, it's not really feminine, but it feels elevated and it smells really much more expensive than it is. If you like woodsy scents, I think you'll like this. Speaking of cedar, I got my hands on, I think, all of the Salt and Stone body mists, body and hair mist this year. And these are really nice because they feel elevated. I know there are so many body mists on the market right now, but these are in a glass bottle. They feel weighty, they feel grown up and sophisticated. Even though they're body mists, I feel like they have pretty decent longevity. My favorite scent right now, I kind of rotate, but my favorite scent right now is Saffron and Cedar. I also like their Santal. And in the summer, I really love their Neroli and Basil, but it's definitely a summer scent. Saffron and Cedar kind of works year round. It has that woodiness, that roundness, but it still feels very clean. And it's a good base, and it's not anything too intense. It's like a really good daytime sort of body mist. Closing out with my two most worn perfumes, Glossier Dew continues to be, I don't know, it just has longevity in my life, and I didn't think that would necessarily be the case. This one is a woodsy perfume, but it has a cleanness and a roundness and a warmth. There's a creaminess that comes from, I think, the Palo Santo, or maybe it's there's like a sage in here. I always say it feels like the little sister to Byredo de los Santos, which is another favorite, but this is just a little bit less intense. And it has a little bit more warmth to it that makes it very much like a skin scent, and it just wears so nicely throughout the day. My final one, this is actually probably my most worn, but it was limited edition and it's only available in Korea, so I'm just giving it a quick mention. It's the Tambourine Salty Vanilla Perfume. I picked this up last time I was in Korea. It is creamy, it's fresh, there's like a lemony brightness to it. If you can get your hands on it, it's beautiful. I wish they would make it permanent, and I wish we could get tambourines in the US. So I'm only going to mention it very briefly because I did use and love it so much. So that is everything. It closes out my best of beauty of 2025. It was definitely an eventful year, a tough year in a lot of ways, and these are all the products that kind of carried me through. I would really love to hear what your best of beauty of 2025 were, whether it's makeup, skincare, hair care, any of the categories. I just want to know if there's anything I should try going into 2026. This is probably the last video I'll be filming in 2025, so I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys, and even though we don't know each other, sometimes I feel like we do, and that always kind of carries me through all of the ups and downs. It certainly carried me through the last year. So yeah, just thank you for being here. I'm really excited for all that's to come in 2026. It's going to be a big year for me, and I hope you're all enjoying your holiday season and taking really good care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!